Hey guys, you're welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be drafting this stylish blouse with front zipper. So I'll start by drafting the front. The first thing I'll do is to take out the zipper allowance. The zipper is at the front, so I'll take out 1.5 inches, which is going to serve as the zipper allowance, and I'll connect the dots into a straight line. After doing that, I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point is distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. The next point is distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 18 inches. And from the waist point, I added extra 8.5 inches. So go ahead and determine how long you want your blouse to be. After doing that, I'm going to rule straight lines across all these points. So the length of the whole pattern paper is going to be the length of my blouse, and it is about 27.5 inches. So after ruling straight lines across the points, I'm going to label the lines. The next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement. I indicated that on that dot I went down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I also indicated that for my neck width, I'll be using 3 inches. So I placed 3 inches and I indicated the 3 inches with a dot. Now I'm going to slant from the shoulder slope to meet the 3 inches like this. The next thing I'll do is to go down by my armhole depth, which is 8 inches. So from the shoulder slope, I went down by 8 inches and I indicated the 8 inches with a dot. So the same measurement that I have on the shoulder line, I'm going to place it on that 8 inches dot. After doing that, I'm going to rule a straight line across that point. So this new line is going to be the chest line. After doing that, I'll place that same 8 inches. I'll indicate it on this new line, and I'm going to connect into a straight line from the shoulder slope like this. For the neck depth, I'll be using 3.5 inches. So it depends on how deep you want the neckline to be. I'll go down by 3.5 inches and I'll extend that into the zipper allowance line. After doing that, I'm going to connect like this. The next thing I'll do now is to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll mark that on all the lines and I'll connect into a straight line like this. So after doing that, I'm going to place my tip on the straight line on this armhole area, and I'm going to mark the middle point of what I have there, which is 4 inches. So I'll fold my tape into 2 and I'll mark the 4 inches. After doing that, I'll use the curved part of my ruler to connect from the chest line to the midpoint of the armhole area, just like this. To get the curve for my princess dart, I'm going to be taking 2 inches on the under bust line, 2 inches on the waistline, and 1.5 inches on the base of the pattern paper. If you are busty, you can do 2.5 inches on the under bust line, 2.5 inches on the waistline, and 1 inch on the base of the blouse. So after doing that, I use the curved part of my ruler to connect from the bust line to the under bust line like this. To tighten the armhole area, I went down by 1.5 inches from the first line, and then I used the curved part of my ruler to connect it like this. So I'm going to extend this new armhole line by 1 inch. This is because I don't want to run short of fabric when I'm joining the pieces together. So I came out by 1 inch, so it is longer than the previous one. So this is going to be the new armhole area. After doing that, now I start placing my measurements. So on the chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4. I replaced that tiny dart there and I added 2 inches on my joining allowance. After doing that, I connected from the armhole area into that line. On the under bust line, I placed my under bust circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and then I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. On the waistline, I placed my waist circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. On the hip line, I placed my hip circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and then I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. After doing that, I'm going to connect from the chest line all the way like this, and from there to the hip point. So to give the base of the blouse a little bit of shape, what I'll do is to go up by 1.5 inches. So it depends on how you want it on the base. I went up by 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to use the curved part of my ruler to connect it to meet this dart leg like this. So after doing that, guys, if you are taking your side dart, you can go ahead and do that at this point, so you close it on the pattern paper. But I'm not going to do that. So what I'll do now is to go ahead and cut. So the front of the blouse is a little bit open, so to do that, I'm going to extend my waistline into the zipper allowance. After doing that, I'm going to go down by 1 inch from the waistline. So it depends on where you want the opening to start from. I'll connect like this, so I'm going to cut from that part. Okay, so after doing that, I'll go ahead and cut. So please pay close attention so you know where to cut. After cutting, guys, this is what I have for the front. You can see that the armhole area is still matching because I extended the one on the side by 1 inch. So you can use the front pattern to cut out the back by folding the zipper allowance at the front, so the back is not going to have any opening. It's going to be on fold. And for the side front, you're also going to fold in these curved parts because it's too curved for it to be the back. You fold it in a little and then you trace it out. Okay, so I'm going to draft the back, okay, in case you want to draft the back. So this is the new pattern paper I'll be using to draft out the back. So I'll go ahead and start placing my points. So since we already have the zipper allowance at the front, we're not going to add any zipper allowance to the back. The back is going to be closed. So the first point I'll take is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 16 inches. From the waist point, I added extra 8.5 inches for the full length of the blouse. After doing that, I went ahead to put straight lines across and I labeled the line. So next thing I did was to take half of my shoulder measurement from the center front. On that dot, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. For my neck width, I used 3 inches just like I did for the front. So I slanted from the 3 inches into the 1 inch shoulder slope. Next now is to go down by my armhole depth, which is 8 inches. I indicated that. On that point, I'm making sure that I have the same 8 inches that I have on the shoulder line. I went ahead to indicate that. After doing that, I'll connect from the shoulder slope to the 8 inches and I'll rule a straight line across. So this is going to be the chest line. Next now is to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches on all the lines, and I'll connect into a straight line like this. So after doing that, I'm going to mark the middle point of this armhole area, which is 4 inches. I'll indicate that. After doing that, I'll use the curved part of my ruler to connect from the chest line to that middle point like this. So once you do this, you can go ahead and start placing your measurements and then you cut, so that this area, the cup area, is not going to be too curvy, but it's going to gape on the armhole area. So in order to avoid that, I'll be taking 1 inch on the side of this straight line. As you can see, this is actually not necessary. Okay, so you can just take out the dart on the armhole area and not necessarily do what I am doing. Okay, so I went ahead to connect from the 1 inch like this to give it a curve on the under bust area, but make sure it is not as curvy as that of the front. So I'll go ahead and use my marker to just outline everything that I've marked. So on the armhole area, I came down by 1.5 inches, same thing I did for the front. Now I'm going to extend it out by 1 inch. I'm doing this not to run short of fabric on the armhole area when I'm joining my pieces together. So now I'm going to connect using my marker like this. So whatever you do, make sure this back is not curvy. Okay, and once you sew it, you give it a good press and it's going to lay flat. So next now I start placing my measurements. On the chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4, and then I added 2 inches for my joining allowance. So I connected from the armhole area into that point. On the under bust point, I placed my under bust circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. On the waistline, I placed my waist circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. On the hip line, I placed, that is the blouse length, I placed my hip circumference divided by 4. I replaced the dart and then I added 2 inches for my stitching allowance. On the base, I went up by 1.5 inches and I connected it back into the dart leg. For the neck depth of the back, I'm using 1.5 inches, so I came down by 1.5 inches. I'll connect from the neck width of 3 inches to the neck depth of 1.5 inches like this. So to tighten the waist area of the back, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch on this waist area. I'll connect it upward and I'll connect it downward like this, so the back does not gape since it does not have a zipper. So what I'll do now is to cut. So this is the center back. Go ahead and label it, and the side back. So you don't have to draft out the back like I mentioned earlier. You can just fold in the bustier area, that's the cup area, and then use it to cut out the back. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut. And yeah, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.